Welcome to Sports Talk with John and John. That's John, he's John, and me? Well, I'm the shark.
Mike, before we cut ways, I need to give a boxing take because this past Sunday, we got to witness history in the making. You know,
Right.
before my dad talks about Rocky Marciano or some guy, Leonard Stonehands,
Yeah, see?
Wilson,
Rocky Marciano,
some
see? Hit on the
see,
jab, right, jab.
back then they had the Marcus Queensberry rules. Okay, before he goes and talks about fighting when there was like 15 rounds and no ref and bare knuckles. I just want to say shout out to Bud.
Yeah.
You know what?
For the hell
I
of a
know
fight.
we're supposed to be talking about football, but God bless it, man. Terrence Bud Crawford, you know what? The guys, what can you say? That was history in the making. Every now and then you get an opportunity to actually witness like history, a historic moment in sports. And I think people should just take a moment just to be appreciative because this is something that in the four belt era, no one has ever seen. And we've seen some big names come through in the sport of boxing. What this guy's managed to do in his boxing career is unprecedented. It's like I say, every time LeBron James scores another point, he sets a record. We'll never see that again in our era. Every time Bud steps on the ring, this point on forward, you know what? He's only fighting to beat himself. You know what? The fight was absolutely impressive. Bud dismantled, arguably the pound for pound king of the sport and face of the sport over the last 7 years. You know what? Took him to deep waters. For all the people that say that Bud ran, you know what? Canelo's face tells a different story. And you got to watch a guy jump up in 3 weight classes to fight the guy who was the guy and then beat the guy better than the guy had ever been beaten ever again. So I can't say anything else about Bud. If he retires now, he'll retire. You know what? On the Mount Rushmore of boxing at the welterweight and at the welterweight weight class, certainly.
Well, I watched that fight, and I think you and I spoke about it prior to it, and I told you my only concern with Bud was the year off and the moving up that much weight with a year off. Now, if you said, we're going to move up in weight, we're going to have some prelim fights, some tune-ups, some things, maybe against a tomato can here, or just somebody who might be a one-shot artist, and he didn't look great, but you could see the things he needed to work on, I'd be like, oh, okay. But when you have 13 months off and you move up in weight.
3.
Right. The natural thing for anyone would be like, this is uncharted territory as a boxer. I've never heard, like Sugar Ray took the Hagler fight and he took time off because of a detached retina. Plus, he just needed to take some time off. But he didn't move up in weight. So he didn't really lose anything. He actually was injured, came back, and he won the Hagler fight. Questionable decision as far as I'm concerned. One of the most questionable decisions I've ever seen in boxing. But he gave him the victory. It wasn't unanimous, but he walked his way into a victory. This is different. What I watched with Bud and Canelo was I watched Bud, who is an unnatural southpaw, he's really right-handed, fight as a southpaw, tease Canelo by keeping his right hand out and waving it in front of his face to get Canelo to, like Singali, to focus on Bud's right hand and sneak a left behind the right hand every single time. Not only that, I think this might be the first time I'd ever seen a Canelo fight where he was concerned about getting hit in the belly. Like Canelo was really concerned about Bud's body shots. And if you watch, there was a point at which Canelo's disgust with the fact that Bud was throwing body shots was enough to tell me, you know what? This isn't something he was expecting. And it's not something that he was really physically prepared for also. And Bud shocked him. Plus, my last point is Bud, whoever his coaching is, whatever it is, they're geniuses. Because there's specific points in that fight where Canelo was about to sit down on the right hand. He's about to sit down, and just before he cocked the right hand to throne, Bud shifted. Just, you could see it, Bud standing still, and just before Canelo throws the right hand, Bud shifts to his right. Because he's fighting in southpaw, so he moves to his right, and every single time, and I think that psychologically has as much to do with that fight, because in the 12th round, I really think Canelo felt like he wanted to take a Roberto Duran. I saw it. It looked like he really wanted to walk away at some point, but he didn't. Shout out to Bud. It just wasn't a great victory. It was the best fight that I'd seen from the head down, mentally. Bud from the head down. And that cheap shot on the headbutt, that was a cheap shot. He got him under the eye. He tried to open him up. It didn't faze Bud one bit. So shout out to that young man. He came out there and put in a fight. And by the way, he's 37 years old. That did not look like a 37-year-old fighter. That looked like a 27-year-old guy who was in the crust or in the phase of his fight game that he's about to go to the next plateau. My hope is he doesn't go into like light heavyweight or something crazy like that. Okay.
No.
Don't pull a Muhammad Dwight Kwawi and move up to like heavyweight.
No, don't do Roy. Don't go the Roy route.
Yeah, don't go to Roy route. Don't do that. You're cool. In fact, I'd like to see Bud drop a little bit and come back and get a real payday. Another payday.
I don't think there's anybody left to generate a payday other than the rematch. At this point in time.
I do. I think Shakur Stevenson and Bud would make a great fight.
Yeah, he's not going to drop down to 130.
I think Shakur could move up. Shakur can move up. He's what, 5'11"? He can move up.
Shakur Stevenson would end up on an obituary if he fought Bud. I don't think Shakur wants that fight. I don't think I'm saying it would be interesting. They're both good. They're both good southpaws. The only person close, in my opinion, I think you got J-Ron, you got Boots, J-Ron Boots, Enos out there right now that's floating around. He's a boogeyman, but if you're Bud, what do you have? What else? I don't think that's the payday that you're looking for. So I think if you're Bud,
Mayweather,
I think that is the fight. Believe it or not, I think as much as people,
I just said that by jokes. No,
I think while you're playing, I think that's the question. You know what? Of our generation, of my lifetime, who is the best welterweight, middleweight fighter of all time? Is it Bud or is it Floyd Mayweather? You know what? And realistically, I'm struggling with that argument. I think about that.
Bud would mop him up. He's 44 years old. Bud would mop him up.
Oh, now, yeah, at this stage of their careers. But what I'm saying is, in their primes like that, I guess that's one of those. I wish we could make it happen, but we'll never get a chance to see it fights.
48.
He mop him up. Yeah, he's mop him up. It's over. Let it go. I thought that fight was. First, shout out to Netflix. Like we go from, and I remember Netflix when you had to rent the videotapes from in front of a grocery store, like $5. Like, I'm going to get a Netflix.
DVDs.
Yeah. When it said, we're going to send you a DVD by the mail. I'm like, this is never going to work. And here we are, Netflix, throwing arguably the best fight that I've seen in maybe 10 or 15 years. Just tactically. And the fact that both guys were physically prepared to fight one another. And at points of the fight, they were willing to either one exchange in a phone booth. Because the 12th and 11th round of that fight was what we want to see in a prize. Brutal. I want to see you take one to give two, and I want to give two to get one.
Violent.
And Bud showed me something. Bud showed me that in a phone booth, Bud can deliver. Like, if you watch this fight again, every time Canelo hit Bud, what I didn't see that I had seen in other previous Canelo fights is the guy takes one and backs away. When Bud took one, Bud threw it back. He didn't just take it and move back. Bud took it, but he also came back with something of his own, like, hey, I might be getting this one, but take this one with you.
So just FYI, when you talk about Bud, you have to also remember that this is a guy that was unfortunately shot in the head and then drove himself to the hospital.
Yeah, that's a yeah.
I'm just gonna say, if you can take a 40 to the face, you know what? You can probably take a jab or a hook, right? So
yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, it's
guy's not phased. You know what? Awesome. This was by far one of the best weeks of sports altogether. All the NFL games were exciting. Great week of boxing as well. You know what? I wish every week was going to be like this. I'm interested to hear what the Shark has to say, so I'll be tuning in to hear that, to hear his takes. You know what?
By the way, that
Hopefully
Terrence Crawford shooting,
make some money. Yeah.
That Terrence Crawford shooting, John, was in 2008, and I couldn't believe it. And until you mentioned it when we spoke, I had to go back and look because he narrowly missed in his brain. It ricocheted off his skull. So Terrence Crawford, not only is he a survivor, but whatever. I think there's a great movie, and you guys should watch it. And this is all to our listeners. It's called Somebody Up There Likes Me. And I think Terrence Crawford might be the actual version of Somebody Up There Likes Me. It's actually the Rocky Marciano story played by Paul Newman back in the day. Black and white. You guys never watch it because clearly, it's black and white. But anyway, getting shot with a 40 and walking away and driving yourself to the hospital, that's great.
I knew it was coming. I was waiting for it.
What do you want?
I was waiting for the ragtime music. You just had to bring in something from the previous generation.
Our listeners love the obligatory references
if you want to
to
see
a point in time, that we represent.
Movie, you can watch The Sixth Man with Marlon Wayans. It's a little bit more modern than whatever he was talking about.
How about Joanna Man? Okay, you know what I mean?
I was waiting for it. Like,
Home Alone.
Great movie.
This is Paul Newman. Somebody up there loves me. Come on, will you? Really?
Here we go. Charlie Chaplin. I met him back.
Whatever. You guys have. I don't know who your father is, but neither one of you have any sense of historical reference at all. Like both of you go back to a time when South Park was just starting. Really? God. Seriously?
All I know.
Respect my authority.
Tune into the Shark Bait Thursday for the Shark
Bait
take
Thursday
with the Shark Bait.
9 for 12.
Sharks take with
9
the
for
Shark
12.
Bait.
Shark Bait.